Welcome home residents, it's your mate Alistair back once again with something you fans of the classics might like. One of the franchise's most iconic monsters could return in Godzilla X Kong 3, also known as its working title, Zeus, but in a more twisted form. The MonsterVerse has taken bits and pieces from the extended lore since the series' inception. We all know by now the comics are soft canon, but that doesn't mean aspects won't appear in the film, like Colonel Lee Shaw, who appeared first in Godzilla Awakening, and then, of course, as the best character in Monarch Legacy of Monsters. So, what else can the films take from? Now there is an abundance of characters and lore to adapt from, and one of them, shockingly, is Gigan. Now, bear in mind, this is something that can serve as a spiritual successor to Gigan, being something similar but completely unique for the MonsterVerse. So, what could fill the Gigan-shaped hole in our hearts? And for those new to the series, who is Gigan? Well, let's find out. But first, be sure to subscribe and stomp that like button. I heard 70% of you are not subscribed, so sort that out guys, you won't regret it. Do it. First appearing in Godzilla vs. Gigan, Gigan quickly carved a place in kaiju history as one of the most brutal and bizarre enemies Godzilla has ever faced. Created by Toho in the Showa era, Gigan was a product of spacefaring alien invaders known as the Nebulans, who sent him to Earth as a cybernetic weapon of destruction. With a buzzsaw in his chest and hooked claws for hands, Gigan was unlike anything audiences had seen at the time. A kaiju with built-in weapons designed purely for carnage. Gigan would return in Godzilla vs. Megalon, again as a servant for otherworldly invaders, teaming up with Megalon in an all-out brawl that showcased just how wild the Showa era could get. After this, Gigan vanished for decades until his explosive return in the fan-favorite Godzilla Final Wars. This modernized Gigan featured an updated design with sleeker, more dangerous weaponry, including chainsaw arms and a more menacing biomechanical look. Though ultimately defeated again, his Final Wars appearance cemented his reputation as one of Godzilla's deadliest adversaries. Beyond the films, Gigan has also appeared in video games, comics, and other media, always depicted as a ruthless alien weapon. His popularity endures thanks to his unique design and savage fighting style, which sets him apart from the more traditional kaiju. He even appeared in the recent Gemstone animation, Godzilla vs. Gigan Rex, with possibly its biggest redesign yet, and it was awesome. Whether he's slicing through enemies with his buzzsaw or getting blown to bits in a flashy finale, Gigan remains a standout figure in the Godzilla mythos, a fan-favorite villain who represents the perfect blend of science fiction menace and monster movie madness. But 2004 was the last we saw him in the live-action films, which is over 20 years now. Fans have been clamoring to see their favorite cyborg chicken again. So, how could the MonsterVerse get its equivalent to Gigan? The MonsterVerse is no stranger to introducing new monsters to fill the gaps of several Toho characters. For example, Scylla served as a spiritual replacement for Kumonga and Ebirah, being a large spider-like crustacean. Tiamat was the MonsterVerse's equivalent to Manda, being a Japanese dragon-inspired titan. Phosphora was originally intended to be a replacement for Mothra, filling a similar role as the Queen of the Monsters, before they managed to get the rights to everyone's favorite Big Moth. Each one of these titans are designed to make fans of the original Toho monsters happy, whilst making the MonsterVerse stand out from what already exists. And I think they're mostly successful. Apart from Phosphora, I'm not sure what drugs they were on when they designed her. But back to the expanded lore. What has been introduced that could serve as a sufficient Gigan replacement? Well, in the recently released mobile game, Godzilla X Kong Titan Chasers, a mysterious faction emerges with a dark agenda to warp the natural order and reshape it into something monstrous and unnatural. Introducing Project Kanunos. In the game, players come face to face with a sinister new faction known as Kanunos, a group hell-bent on dominating the Titans through manipulation and control. Unlike Monarch, which seeks to coexist and study these ancient beings, Kanunos operates with a cold, calculated disregard for nature, pushing the boundaries of science into something far more disturbing. Using remnants of technology from the now-defunct Apex Cybernetics, Kanunos takes a more ruthless path, one that involves rewriting DNA, fusing flesh with machine, and erasing what makes these creatures unique. With their driving philosophy being, Titans aren't beings to be understood, they're weapons to be harnessed. One terrifying result of their experiments is the corrupted Skullcrawler, a nightmarish hybrid with a mechanized spine designed to override its natural instincts, and a control collar that acts both as a symbol of its enslavement and a means of suppressing its will. No longer a wild beast, this creature has been reduced to a tool deployed to eliminate anyone who dares to stand in Kanunos' way. While this corrupted Skullcrawler may not feature Gigan's iconic buzzsaw, its origins bear a striking resemblance. Like Gigan, Skullcrawlers possess bird-like traits, sharp beak-like jaws, agile movements, and a feral, bloodthirsty nature. But more than that, both creatures share a darker parallel. Each was taken by an outside force and twisted into a weapon of war. Gigan was mutilated and enhanced by alien hands, while this Skullcrawler has been cybernetically altered and enslaved by the sinister Kanunos. In both cases, a living creature is stripped of its identity and reshaped into a monstrous tool of destruction. But how could it work in the upcoming MonsterVerse film? With clues that humanity will take the fight to the Hollow Earth, and reported leaks that state they will make cyborg undead Skullcrawlers, an organization, potentially called Zeus, may indeed rise to take control of the Titans, just like what we see here. This could come in the form of one alpha Skullcrawler, genetically enhanced to match the sizes of Godzilla and Kong, and following it, a swarm of smaller Skullcrawlers to overwhelm their prey. A similar thing was done in Godzilla vs. Gigan Rex, where there was one main large Gigan, followed by several smaller ones to overpower and weaken their targets. And with them, this organization can push back Titan threats, fighting fire with fire, of course against the wishes of Monarch. We know that the Skullcrawlers were responsible for wiping out Kong's tribe, so they're more than capable of dealing with massive threats. Of course, this would infuriate Kong, as messing with nature, even that being his arch-nemesis, is something he does not stand for, and he would likely lash out against the humans for the first time since 1973. This doesn't even begin to get across the anguish and pain Kong would feel, seeing the very monsters that killed his family being used as puppets by humanity against his own kind. These are the people he thought he trusted. His rage would be unmatched. And if done well, these corrupted creatures could be the most horrifying and ethically twisted thing the MonsterVerse has ever seen, and would serve as the MonsterVerse's own spiritual successor to the cybernetic Gigan. Gigan has a rich history, and is one of my favorite characters in the franchise. One of the first Godzilla films I ever watched was Godzilla vs. Gigan, so I'd love to see this kaiju in the MonsterVerse. But like several other Titans, Legendary may introduce a new Titan to fill that kaiju-sized hole in our hearts. And while it's not the same, I think the corrupted Skullcrawler could make a lot of classic fans happy, just like Scylla and Tiamat did, who both became fan-favorite additions. But what did you think? Well, we asked you residents over on Twitter. If you want to get involved, go follow us at Dangerville Team and respond to post for a chance to be featured in a video. to subscribe and stomp the notification button to become a resident of Dangerville today. Would you be happy with corrupted skullcrawlers as a replacement for Gigan? Let us know in the comment section down below. I've been Alistair, and we'll see you residents in the next one.